Welcome everyone to a brand new episode of VIVA JUEGO. I'm your host, the Cheek Monster, and I have here with me the winners of the post-Halloween giveaway. Oh, this is so exciting. For those of you just joining us, a few weeks ago I gave away a copy of Costume Quest and a copy of Amnesia to celebrate, post-Halloween Halloweenness. And here in this envelope I have the winners. The winners are nobody won. Nobody won because nobody entered the contest. But you know what? That's fine. That's cool. I'm used to disappointment. I'm used to having these big expectations for things that really just don't end up quite as well as I expected. Just like this game that I'm working on. Alright, so our last episode we were working on some enemy sprites. That was the boss enemy from the final level of the tutorial. And he's coming along good, and right now we're going to also be working on some other enemies. These are going to be the enemies from the second part of the level. And I'm thinking after these enemies are done, I'm just going to make some projectiles, and from there we should have enough to make a playable prototype that we can kind of tweak around with and, work with the controls and fire some projectiles and see how that works. And I've got everything pretty much planned out from there, so it's fairly straightforward. But I'm really excited to do that because, it actually means the game is really finally starting to gain some traction. And also over the weekend, I've been reworking the game design document so that it's a little bit more fluid. I actually hate writing game design documents. But flowcharts are kind of fun, I guess. I'm not really much of a programmer, but I'm trying to combine it somewhat with the technical design document a little bit so that it's just all easy to access. But I'll put the link to that GDD in the description below for you guys to read. It should be a lot of fun. So, I've actually been kind of racking my brains this past week to figure out if there was an interesting topic that happened to me recently. I went to the thrift store. I go thrift store shopping a lot because I am poor. I know Macklemore made it popular with his song, rap, whatever that was. But yeah, I've been doing that forever. Not because I was cool, but because I was an artist. So I was poor. I didn't used to really like the thrift store because it was not really my cup of tea, I guess. It was just kind of a necessity, but over time, I think I've started to like going there more, because my style has changed over the years. I used to really be just like, an ugly tomboy, just kind of frumpy dresser. Like, I would just wear sneakers and jeans and, like, a weird, jacket over. It was terrible. I don't want to talk about it. But now my style has evolved into something much more, I think, thrift shop friendly, and that is pretty much 80s. I just love the 80s. I'm very serious when I say I wish that I had been born in the 80s. I really, really wish I had been born in the 80s. I know, oh, what about the internet and cell phones and all that stuff? But people actually, spoke to each other, with their faces, in the 80s, and I think that was okay. And also, video games were just starting to get popular, right? Lots of cool stuff happening in the 80s. I'm sure I'm romanticizing in my head. I mean, did they... I don't know, probably the medical system wasn't quite as up-to-date back then. What was it, AIDS? Was that the thing, AIDS? Could I get AIDS in the 80s? So that would have probably been weird. But other than that, I would have loved to live back then. So anyway, that's pretty much the only thing that's in a thrift shop these days. They got the blazers. Fucking love blazers. They have, just blazers, really. That's the only thing I really care about is blazers. I usually just wear jeans and some sneaks and a white tee, and then I just put a really badass blazer over that, and I'm set to go for the day, And I remember walking into this thrift store, and there was just, a shit ton of blazers, and it was awesome. But, the thrift store, it's not like another store, you can't just pick something off the rack and be like, okay, cool, this is what I'm gonna go with. You really have to try things on. But then when you try things on, they usually don't wash their stuff, which is a little weird. So I always kind of have, other person rash after you try on clothes at the thrift store. So I always wear like some plain jeans and a white t-shirt and some slip-on shoes. You want to have something that when you're wearing clothes with, you can kind of match, or it's just you have like a neutral palette to try it over and that kind of thing. And here's the thing is, I actually only ever try out shirts. I never try out jeans because they just don't work out. I would just rather get a new pair of jeans. Because older jeans are just, first of all, they never fit you. I don't know what it is about thrift store pants, but probably since I was 12, I have not found a pair of pants at a thrift store that fit me. Probably because I've got like that Latina kind of pear shape thing going on, and all the jeans are just like two tubes kind of down. That's how those pants look, and they never fit on me like that. And I'm really upset about it, but you know, I can't do anything because that sort of thing just runs in my jeans. I'm not proud of the joke I just told, okay? I'm sorry. Then you go in and you have to try it on. First you see if it fits. That's the most important thing. But with most jackets and things, like, you're pretty safe there. I mean, there's really not that much of a problem, because it doesn't even have to close entirely around you because it's just a jacket. You could let it hang open. And then you have to see what's really important, if it kind of, like, looks good on you. Because, you know, on the rack, you're like, oh, you know, that's cool, that's interesting, that looks like something I would wear. But then you put it on, and you're like, oh, I look a little bit like a clown skank, so that doesn't work. Well, I put that on, and then I pose in the mirror a few times to see how good it looks on me, and also how good I look, because I'm incredibly vain. There's always the clothes at the thrift store that have, like, they're just, like, so ridiculous, and you know you would never wear them ever in a million years. But you still take it into the changing room with you, you know, just be like, I wonder how I would look in that dress that's made entirely out of chiffon and faux flowers. I always wonder about the thrift store, like, the people who work at the changing rooms, and, you know, they see people going in with that, and they're like, ugh. Because they know you're not gonna buy it. They know you're just trying it on to fuck around. I think that's funny. But then you see, you know, would this match other things that I have in my wardrobe? I think that's really important, and something that a lot of people don't consider is you find something that looks really good on you, sort of, and it's okay. But you're like, I probably only ever wear this once, you know? There's really no occasion to wear it. Oh, this would just be the perfect top to wear to a cat burning. But I only ever go to those, like, what, once a month? And then, after about 2 hours of looking through clothes like that, I'm really picky when it comes to shopping, so I'll probably get like 2 blazers from 2 hours of shopping. That's what I got last time. I was just looking through so much stuff, and there were only 2 that I really was like set with. But they looked really good on me, and you know, they fit well, so I appreciate that. But yeah, so then I always go to the book and the movie section, and that's probably where I make most of my purchases, interestingly enough. I'll just be there for like an extra hour, just looking at cool stuff. And you find all kinds of interesting books there. And that's what I like about thrift stores. It's a little bit of a treasure hunt. You know, you're not really sure what you're going in for. You're just seeing if something appeals to you. It's really a special kind of hunt thing. And that especially applies to books, because you don't know what books are there, and you don't even know if there's books that might interest you. But then it'll be something that, you know, was kind of unexpected that you never expected to see. Like, for example, I found a book. It was just a little green book about all the kind of songs and quotes from, like, Jim Henson, the guy who made the Muppets. Like, it was just that. And I was like, I mean, I think Muppets are cool, but, you know, I never really expected for there to be a book about that or anything like that. But, you know, I bought it anyway because it was really fascinating and cute and funny, and I really like that. And also, little golden books. I know this is kind of weird, but I always try the little golden books, take a look at those, because the artwork in them sometimes is really spectacular. Although I know a lot of them are, like, Disney related or whatever, and also they're only ever about, like, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. I don't get that. It's just that one movie. And the story is, like, it's not even something that happened in the movie, but they're using movie screenshots. Oh, come on, Dopey! Let's go hunting for gems in the crystal mines! Ooh! But come to think about it, maybe like back in the day, I guess Snow White was pretty much the only movie that existed. But there are a few that are just like really old, like vintage illustrations. I found a golden book that was like the 12 Days of Christmas. I bought it in July. But it was illustrations by this artist, Sheila Beckett. I think that's her name. And she is, oh, I love her artwork. It is totes gorge. And I discovered that artist after looking at that book, which I thought was really, really cool. So yeah, you know, little golden books. You never know. So once all that's done, I do like a final lap. You know, I've looked at the clothes, I've looked at the books, and then I just check out the jewelry, the knickknacks, and the movies. I found a 2-disc edition of Studio Ghibli's Spirited Away at a thrift store. I nearly shit my pants. I was so happy I found it. And that would have been a disaster, of course, because, as you know, there would have been no pants in the store that would fit me well enough to replace my freshly shit pants. So I'm glad that I kept that in, and also that I bought that movie. Okay, well, I think that I've rambled on long enough, and you can see that the aliens that I'm working on here, that'll be the boss and the mini minions from the second part of the game, the tutorial level, are finished, and they look pretty cute. They're just gonna wobble around like that, and they're gonna have little lights that kind of light up, and I think that's gonna be kind of fun. And they'll just shoot projectiles down at the player. So that's that. I think we'll end the episode there, and next time we're just going to work on some projectiles and some final things, and then we'll see if we can actually finally get a game going. That would be really exciting. Alright, I'll see you guys next time.